Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special Indy-rific episode of the Irish Whip podcast. I'm your host, Ben, accompanied as always by my co-host, Darren.
Yeah.
This isn't a full-on episode. We were supposed to do Lucha Underground, but we realised that Ultima Lucha is next week, and we haven't watched this week's episode.
Yeah. So, today that we're recording is the day the new episode is out.
Yeah, episode 23 is out last night, today.
Yeah.
And we mistakenly believed that it was the first week of Ultima Lucha.
Yeah, the 1st of July we thought.
Yeah. And so we got our recording dates mixed up.
But luckily we had something to talk about at least.
We got something to...
fill the void.
We do. Darren, you went to an Irish promotion a couple of days ago called Over the Top Wrestling.
Yep. Over the Top, there's not a lot of history on them. They've only started up in 2014, I want to say.
Yeah.
They've had a few viral moments.
Yeah.
When some of the cast from Father Ted did a run-in once.
Yeah, if you know Over the Top, you'll know them from the Father Ted night that they did.
Yeah, they've got some great wrestlers signed with them, and they've had some great wrestlers appear. I looked at the roster. They had like Will Ospreay as a signee with them. Sabu appeared once. Rhino appeared once.
I assume Sabu wasn't invited. He just showed up.
Too Cool was there, I found out.
Oh, and we missed them.
I was raging, literally, because when I was younger, they were my boys.
Scotty Too Hottie and Grandmaster
Sexy. I was legitimately raging when I found out I missed that show, because I loved them when I was like 12.
Be honest, you still love Grandmaster Sexy.
I still love seeing the Worm.
Yeah. When he did that return a couple of years ago and everyone was silent, you were the one guy going like, "Oh my god, it's Grandmaster Sexy."
Yes, exactly. I had my goggles and my my leopard print shirt already.
Yep.
for the
Too Cool experience.
We should have called the podcast.
Yeah.
So there's not much history on Over the Top. They've got some great wrestlers. I went because Pride was happening, and that's what the show was. It was a Pride event called A Matter of Pride.
So, traditionally, when LGBT characters have been portrayed in professional wrestling, it hasn't always been the most tasteful.
No.
Billy and Chuck was actually probably the most tasteful.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, we get Orlando Jordan covering himself in whipped cream.
And then going to TNA and having to be a transvestite.
Clean by strippers.
And having to be a transvestite.
Yeah, that was all TNA.
Like, where do you draw that line where you're like, oh, he's bi, he likes men and women, that must mean he dresses like a woman.
Yeah. So where did this fall on
I can't honestly tell you how many of the wrestlers were gay or bisexual or lesbian. There was a few gay characters, but I can't tell you if they legitimately are outside of kayfabe.
Were they horrifically offensive?
No.
Okay, that's good.
They compared to WWE, it was nothing. And we were having the crack with it as well. I think if they had offensively gay characters, it wouldn't work.
Yes.
For a Pride event. So the venue is actually really cool as well.
It was in the Tivoli, wasn't it?
Yeah, and another thing as well with Irish wrestling is it's generally looked down upon.
Yeah.
It's still a very carny thing over here.
Well, it is everywhere, but...
Yeah, but in Ireland, how many do we have? We have Irish Whip, and we have the lads who come down to the bingo halls and pretend to be WWE wrestlers.
Yes.
Like, that's what it's like here in Ireland for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to 2 shows in Ireland before this. One was NXT 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the one before that was in the Bingo Hall in Carlow, where we live.
Where you got your dad dressed up as Kane,
Yes,
basically.
So, like, that's how the Irish scene is for wrestling up until this point.
Yeah.
But over the top are like a proper thing.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a situation where I went to it and thought to myself,
God, why am I a wrestling fan?
Yeah, if anything, this made me love indie wrestling a lot more.
Good.
What else could I say about the show itself? I sat near 4 of the most annoying cunts in the world. Holy shit.
Were they 4 lads wearing Bailey t-shirts?
It was 4 lads and 2 girls. The 2 girls obviously had never been to a wrestling show and were just chanting the most obnoxious shit in my entire life. 4 of the fellas, one of them was wearing an OSW shirt, so I felt terrible. And they would just chant. They were the kind of guys who would chant shit hoping to get other people to chant.
Yeah.
But it was obnoxious, boring bullshit. And at one point I wanted to beat the shit out of them. So the matches we had, I want to say the show was maybe like 2 hours.
That's standard time.
Started at 7:30 and ended at about, I want to say, 11 o'clock.
Okay.
With a break in the middle.
It's about the same time as NXT.
Yeah, basically. The matches we had the first match we had was Pete Dunne versus El Ligro. That's how you pronounce it, isn't it?
Yeah, El Ligro.
Yeah.
Or El Ligro.
Yeah, and I really wanted to see. He was like one of the 2 reasons I went to see the show, because he looks amazing, and the match was great. There's a lot of flippy shit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, like, was there any standout moments of the match? Mostly us chanting abuse at Pete Dunne, who is English, and we were chanting Brexit shit at him.
Of course.
Completely forgetting that El Ligro is also English.
Nice.
Their match was really fun. A lot of like crowd pleasing stuff. And I met El Ligro a little afterwards because he was at his merch booth doing stuff. So I talked to him for a bit. After that we had Angel Cruz and Fabulous Nikki versus the Kings of the North.
The Kings of the North?
Yeah.
Or is their gimmick they're Ra lads?
They're from, I don't know. See, there's the big problem I have, is this being my first show, a lot of storylines kept going.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what these storylines were, and we didn't know who was face and who was heel. That was the only problem I had really with the show overall, was I didn't understand what was happening. Because I thought Angel Cruz and Fabulous Nikki were the heels, because Angel Cruz came out and started chastising his bodyguard, calling him a jawbridge wanker. And shit, so I thought, this guy's the heel.
Clearly a heel.
But then Fabulous Nikki came out with his manager. I can't remember the manager's name. Very punk looking guy. So they immediately had me on their side. Fabulous Nikki is like a very flamboyantly gay character. And very entertaining to watch. Angel Cruz was hilarious to listen to him talk shit. He's like who's your man from Lucha Underground with
Famous B?
No, in the trios tag title.
Either Mundo, PJ Black, or Jack Evans.
Jack Evans. He's like Jack Evans, where he kind of talks shit during the matches.
Entire match. Yeah.
Kings of the North are terrifying to look at. And from what I can get, they are the current over the top champions. I think so. Anyway, I'm not. No, wait. No, they're not. That's later on.
Okay.
They're just a terrifying tag team.
Do they have So is it like a Game of Thrones gimmick or what is it?
honestly can't tell you. It seems very Game of Thronesy.
Yeah.
But they just look like some Nordies.
A little bit of Republicanism thrown in there.
During the match, everyone was chanting stuff like "Nikki's gonna bum you."
Jesus.
The first few minutes of it were a lot of crowd chanting gay stuff about Fabulous Nikki, who was the gay character from what I can gather, which was fun. Kings of the North won. I can't really remember many of these matches because I was pretty drunk.
Fair enough.
They were having offers on beer there.
So you couldn't say no.
And a lot of offers on pizza. So like, it was a whirlwind experience.
Heard it was like 3 cans for a tenner and pizza slices for like $2.50.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Some party up in that place.
The one match I can remember is the next match, which was Jordan Devlin versus Tyler Bate. So I went with a friend of mine who knows wrestling about as well as I do. Yeah. And another friend who doesn't know a single thing about wrestling.
That's always fun.
Yeah, because I wanted to gauge what her reaction would be to the stuff that was happening. And the Tyler Bate Jordan Devlin match was fucking amazing. It was a very technical match, a lot of submissions and all that. And very sportsmanship. They'd get each other in headlocks, or they'd go for the test of strength and stuff. And instead of doing like a low kick or whatever, they just let the guy go once they'd won. Kind of thing. It was like watching very polite guys wrestle. You seen like the preview video where they're both on their heads and in like a test of strength thing, and they just let go and shake each other's hands. But I fucking loved this match. I was getting real into it. There's not many times where I would start chanting and screaming for moves and shit, but I was totally into this match.
You're like, oh, he has him in a wrist lock.
Yeah, and my friend,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, and my friend who doesn't know wrestling doesn't know why I'm going mental, but my other friend who knows wrestling was going insane as much as I was. So Jordan Devlin wins in the end. Oh yeah, I should say Tyler Bate, his quads could devastate a family. They're so large.
I was wondering where that was going.
These quads are ridiculous. like I was terrified of them.
Kevin Nash is just looking at him with envy.
Yeah, he probably stole his quads and like took Kevin Nash's and put them on top of his own because they were ridiculous. And so Jordan Devlin wins, and they shake hands at the end of it, and Devlin backstabs him, clotheslines him, hits him with a fucking brutal looking what is it?
Pile driver?
Yeah, but the old Kevin Steen pile driver.
Oh, package pile driver.
Yeah, hits him with a brutal looking package pile driver. And starts basically cutting a Brits out promo against Tyler Bate.
So immediately he turned face again.
But yeah, that I'd say for me, that match was probably the standout match of the show. Afterwards, we had tag title match. It was the Gym Nasties versus Colt and Worky. Okay. Gym Nasties, for better words, are like character wise are an amalgamation of Young Bucks and New Day. Okay. They wear very Young Bucks gear and cut very New Day promos. Chant squat a lot. They do a lot of squats. So they were really, really entertaining. We had Colt Cabana and Worky. Colt is Colt Cabana. Everyone knows Colt Cabana. Yeah. He was the main reason I was going to the show because I'm a huge fan of his. Worky's whole gimmick is that he's just a scumbag, like a chav kind of guy. Yeah. He comes out with a bag of pills. Scooter, you know the Scooter song I'm thinking of. Yeah. Starts playing. So there's a giant rave happening.
Ain't no wellness policy and over the top.
Everyone is. I'll get into that. Everyone is chanting any yolks at Worky. What else? He pulls out a bag of yolks during the match. He's like the first one in on the match.
Yeah.
And he's just off his face and can't wrestle. He's like passing out during the match. And Colt comes in, picks up Worky, uses him like he's a dummy for the match, and does clotheslines, but he's holding Worky's hand, so Worky's doing the clotheslines.
You should clarify, this is a gimmick and he's not actually off his tits in a match.
I don't know, Ben. Like I said, not a lot of these guys have a very easy way of finding out about their background in wrestling. So that goes on for a while and is very entertaining, and then Colt gets tagged in, and he keeps trying to tag Worky back in, but Worky is too busy trying to get more drugs. He's like taking cans of Stella out of the crowd. He gets like a bag and starts trying to open the bag, and Colt slaps him on the shoulder, and he turns around, he blows the bag of white powder in his face, and at that point everyone is chanting wellness at Colt Cabana, and then they start chanting Roman Reigns at Colt Cabana. And then Colt pretends that he's on cocaine and starts hitting the three gym nasties with his elbow shots. And then as he's getting ready to do like the dusty elbow, he comes down on the coke and passes out in the ring. And the nasties start working him over, and eventually he kicks back in. He starts going at them again with the dusty elbows and all that. That was pretty much most of what I can remember from that. Nasties won. Had a big dance party at the end with Scooter playing and Colt Cabana and Darren doing spinneroonies, and the Nasties start doing the too cool entrance with the worm and all that. Nice. So that match was pretty funny. Most of these matches were pretty funny.
Yeah,
they were entertaining in some fashion. If they weren't wrestling spectacles, they were incredibly entertaining to watch in their own right.
From what I've seen of Over the Top, the style there tends to be comedic.
Yeah, say an Irish PWG. Like PWG has its fair shots of seriousness in their stuff, but they're predominantly,
a lot of it is like fourth wall breaking, comedy, like winking at the
comedy kind of stuff.
The audience.
It's pretty much the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like matches in this that weren't like spectacles to watch of like wrestling moves were still entertaining in their own right. And there wasn't really many matches in this that weren't really good wrestling matches that weren't also entertaining at the same time. So that was like the break spot. They left us off with like a big dance spot.
Yeah.
We met Colt Cabana for a bit during the break. It was cool. Went for a fag. Came back in. They were showing off the stuff for the next the July's stuff. There's no July show. It's Q&A with Scott Hall.
Okay.
My friend did not know who he was because he was cutting the bad guy promo in the video, and she was like, I don't know what this I don't know what this means.
She just doesn't know anything about wrestling. Yeah, she literally knows nothing.
Yeah, I had to explain to her during the matches how pinfall works, how rope breaks work, how 10 counts work from outside of the ring and both guys on the ground. I had to explain all of that to her during the matches. So we came back, and the GM, don't know if he's legitimately the GM or if he's like Dario Cueto.
Yeah.
I can't honestly tell you. He comes out and he's announcing the August show. So he's saying, since we were supposed to get Ryan Smile fighting, but he couldn't appear for whatever reason. I don't want to garner a guess what it is. Yeah. So we on the August show we're getting Ryan Smile versus Marty Scurll. Marty Scurll is a former TNA wrestler and independent, but TNA would be what he's mostly known for.
Yeah.
We're getting the War Machine, who are
the ROH tag champions at the minute.
Ring of Honor's current tag champs, which is fucking amazing. Get that? That's like getting Jay Lethal or something over, which I'd say they probably could.
Yeah.
Jigsaw, who's also TNA, he's in Global Force right now, I think. And the big name was Zack Sabre Jr.
It's pretty big at the minute.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. And like, I'm raging. So I can't go to the next show. But Zack Sabre Jr. is probably not long for indie wrestling at this point.
Yeah, he's competing in the Cruiserweight Classic at the minute.
Yeah. And they can say what they want. We know that Cruiserweight Classic is recruitment program.
Yeah.
So like Zack Sabre Jr. probably not long for indie wrestling at this point. So they're announcing that. Fucking everyone marked out once they saw Zack Sabre Jr. was announced. Same with War Machines. Same with everyone, but Zack Sabre Jr. got the biggest pop.
Yeah.
So we only had 2 matches after that. We had Martina versus Katie Harvey. Martina, her whole gimmick is that she's a session mom.
I don't know what that is.
She's a mother who goes out on the sesh with her children.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing.
So she's a drunken mother, basically.
Yeah, who goes out drinking with her friend families
and her 5-year-old.
Yeah, basically, is pretty funny. This match itself wasn't really like a spectacle match, but it was still entertaining with Session Ma's whole gimmick, where at the start of the match she got checked for foreign objects, and they found like 2 balls of vodka and 3 used condoms in her chest. So I can't really remember how much of this match went. I can't even remember who wins. I just remember the ending itself is the Kings of the North come out, and them and Katie Harvey start cutting off Martina's hair, which leads to the gymnasties coming out, and I think that led to a match for next show.
Intergender match?
Yeah, I think so. Between Harvey and Kings of the Norths with the Nasties and Martina. I assume so anyway.
Yeah.
And then the main event we've got here, it's Luther Ward versus Big Damo. And I actually looked up some stuff about these guys, and Luther Ward was formerly signed with WWE.
Was he?
He got into the Performance Center and in NXT and all that. I don't know how far he went. There's not really much you can find out besides interviews of him leaving NXT.
Was it like a Chris Hero situation where they just didn't have anything for him, or?
But could have been. I can't honestly tell you. And Big Damo is currently the Insane Championship Wrestling champion.
And if rumor is true, he's supposed to be heading towards the Performance Center.
Insane Championship Wrestling is a Scottish brand of wrestling.
Yeah.
In case most people don't know, it's
been around for a couple of years, and currently holds the record for drawing the biggest crowd from a British promotion ever.
Yeah. Very, very impressive amount of wrestlers on that roster. They got like Ospreay. They've got fucking Drew Galloway in there. We got
I know Balor was there for a while.
Yeah. Big Damo obviously is there. I'm sure a number of these guys probably have appeared in ICW at one point or another, because half of this show most are English and the other half are Irish, so yeah. I'd say there's a good chance a few of these guys were in ICW as well.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
So Luther Ward just stole the show for me with his gimmick.
Tell us about his gimmick, Darren.
The most I can gather from his gimmick, and I can't honestly tell you if this is his still gimmick, but looking up online, this is what I found. Is he cuts promos the same way that Travelers cut promos on YouTube. If you've ever seen a game of mobile homes.
Yeah, it's a difficult concept to explain to Americans. Just, you have to look up Traveler fight videos.
Look up Game of Mobile Homes, you'll get the gist of what we're talking about, is that Travelers basically cut promos on each other in Ireland.
Pretty much. They were professional wrestling before professional wrestling happened.
So that's what I can gather is his gimmick from looking him up on YouTube. I think he's got a flogging Molly team as his entrance, which I'm all behind. Comes out on top of one of his manager's shoulders, flinging a hurley around. It's pretty fucking fantastic. And Big Damo comes out. He's just terrifying.
It's like a Scottish Rusev or like a Northern Irish Rusev, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fucking terrifying to look at.
A burly man.
Yeah. Looks like he could be in the Wyatt family as well. So he's out there, and so this is for the over the top championship. The most I can gather is that Luther Ward is the current champion.
Do they have physical belts made?
I think they do.
Okay.
I didn't really look close enough, but I do believe they have belts made.
Okay.
Because I was a good maybe 30 feet from the ring, so I didn't really see what they look like. But the gist I can get is that they do have legit titles.
Yeah.
So the match itself, it's really weird. The closest I can call it to is Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor in Dallas.
Yeah.
Very heated match from what I can gather. Luther Ward is great, and Big Damo is fights like Samoa Joe.
Yeah, just a big fucking tank.
Yeah, like I was saying it to a friend of mine who was there. I was like, this guy fights a lot like Samoa Joe. And we were like, if he throws a high kick, he's basically Samoa Joe. And as we said it, he threw a high kick. He does that Samoa Joe thing of like, is it like a fireman's carry into a senton? Joey picks the guy up and throws him on the ground and then carries it over into like a senton kind of thing. He does something like that, and does a lot of very Samoa Joe-esque moves. It's really, really cool to look at. And Luther Ward is he seems like a very what'd it be, very brawly style wrestler.
Yeah.
Like how they'd want you to believe a Fit Finlay being or something like that.
Yeah. Punchy kicky.
Yeah, basically. He threw out some impressive moves though, like the fucking the German suplex to him, to Big Damo.
Big Damo don't go up easy.
Yeah, my friend was like, he must be exhausted. I was like, did you just see him German suplexing that guy?
Yeah.
There's no way he's not exhausted after that. And fucking, I think it was Damo hitting a fucking like Omega driver.
The one-winged angel thing.
Yeah, like the
electric chair into like a pile driver.
Yeah.
Fucking,
I think he hits Luther Ward with one of those as well.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Fuck me. But like the match goes on for a while and it's very entertaining. I can't really remember much of the spots besides those two moves.
Yeah.
The end comes when the GM comes out and pulls Damo out, and it ends in a DQ finish. Damo gets hit with a chair. Later we find out he was legit injured from it. He had to get like 20 staples in his head afterwards.
It just split his skull open.
Yeah, because I was looking at it and I could see him like patting the back of his head, and I looked at his hands and they were just completely red.
Yeah.
And I was like, did he get hurt? And I turned to my friend and I was like, I think that guy just got hurt because he's got blood all over his hands. And she was like, that's not fake. And I was like, no, I don't think it is. And then later on I found that they had to get like staples put in from it, so I think he got legit injured from it.
Yeah.
Most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life happened. It's one of Luther's fellas comes in with a hurley and just starts swinging it. And he's not like, they're doing the thing where the bad guy runs up the ramp with his entourage.
Yeah.
And he's running up the ramp. He fucking swings the hurl out like from the corner, And I was like, he is not like faking.
No, he's fucking swinging.
Yeah, he's not faking those swings. Those swings are legit.
He's fucking determined to get a goal here.
Yeah, and GM cuts a promo announcing that he's got his own stable now called the Social Elite, who are going to take over, going to stop like Luther and Damo and all that from ever becoming champions. Who I'm guessing both men were the faces. I can't honestly tell you.
Yeah.
By the end of it, because obviously I haven't seen any of the other shows, so I don't know. I can't tell you if who was a heel or who was a face or what the storyline was meant for. Because there was obviously some storyline going on in this show for the Luther Big Damo match, but I couldn't guess what it was. Well, the most I can guess was that Big Damo at some point was with Luther Ward and his team.
Yeah.
That's kind of the gist I can
since
get.
Parted ways.
Yeah, that's kind of what I can get from it. But I can't honestly tell you. But yeah, that was the end of the show. It was really, really good.
Okay. I'm going to try and go to next... Well, the next one's Scott Hall.
The next one's in August, like August 7th.
Yeah.
Where we've got Zack Sabre Jr. and all that. Very fun. If you want to see the show yourself, it's up on Vimeo. We'll leave it as...
Probably leave a link in the description to their Vimeo channel.
Yeah, where you can get the show. It's like £6 to rent and £10 to buy. It's pretty good. Fucking buy it. Supporting Indy.
Tickets for the live shows aren't too expensive. They were like £13 or something like that.
I paid a tenner for my tickets.
That's
I think, and
pretty good.
And VIP tickets are more expensive.
They're like £20 though. Yeah, but 25.
But you're sitting, so obviously you're paying for a luxury that not many people at that show are getting.
Seats.
Yeah, there's a few seats down ringside, but I don't know if those are VIP or if they're first come first serve.
Yeah,
but I still got a great view.
You were standing room only basically.
Yeah. Like I was at the entrance of the arena and I was just sitting on the rafters watching the match with my mates.
You're basically Sting.
Yeah. So yeah, that was over the top, a matter of pride. I'd say it's worth going out of your way to see and going to a show if you're in Ireland at any point when they're putting on a show, because they're cheap and they're entertaining.
They're on like once a month generally in Dublin.
I think it's once a month.
Yeah.
The gist I can get is once a month. I won't be able to make the next show, but I'll make the show after that. The September show. Yeah. Whoever they announce for that, I'll definitely be going to that.
Yeah. So I think that wraps it up.
Yep.
Thanks everyone for listening to our Indy spectacular show. This won't be a full episode. You can follow us on Twitter at Irish Whipcast. Check out our YouTube Irish Whip Podcast and our Facebook Irish Whip Podcast. Our next episode should be coming around this time next week. It'll be our Lucha Underground catch up just in time for Ultima Lucha Dos.
Yeah.
See you next time.